Welcome back, everyone. If you could please like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. So in today's video, we're going to talk all about kickers or edge lights. We're going to talk about placement, how bright it should be, and why you would use it. But let's go in reverse order. So why would you use a kicker? The main reason is to get some separation between your subject, and our subject today is Paolo. I'll put his Instagram account up on the screen. Definitely check him out. You want to have that light coming across here to create separation between this side, or I should say the shadow side of their body, and the background, because you don't want him to just blend into some sort of abyss back there. It also gives a nice three-dimensional effect. So right now we've got our main light, which is, oh, and by the way, I'm using all continuous lights today from Nanlite, strictly for the purpose of demoing this today. Normally, of course, I would use flash for portraits, but I wanted to use continuous lights so you could sort of see what's going on. Continuous lights are a great choice if you've got a stationary subject, but it may not be the best if you need to shoot with a lot of depth of field or outside or shoot someone jumping, but it'll be perfectly fine for today. So I've got two Nanlite FS 300s in each of these soft boxes, and Nanlite did provide me with this gear last year or something for someone else, just so we're clear about that. So this is an offset strip, and this is a 90 centimeter parabolic. So I'm going to be shooting today at 1/125th at 5.6. So if I meter this right here on the subject's face, you want to meter as close as you can to where the light is hitting your person, not somewhere like in between the light and the person. So as close as you can. Okay, so I got 1/125th at 5.6 there on the side of his face. Now if I come over to here, that's what I'll be shooting at ISO 400. If I come over to here, normally I want this light to be about 2 stops darker than his face. So if I'm shooting at 5.6, 2 stops darker is 4, and then 2.8. So 2 stops darker is 2.8. So right now, this light is metering at 1/125th at f2 and a few tenths. I'm just going to turn it up, perhaps all the way. And keep in mind that other light, it's turned up all the way right now. Okay, so I got to 2.8. This is usually my starting point, and I'll just go from here and kind of see how things look. So I'm going to step over to the camera, and I'm going to shoot a picture really quick here, and we'll see how it looks over here on the screen. And as we zoom in, you can see that it's really bright actually, and I'm probably going to turn it down a little bit. The other thing I'm wondering is if my main light is a little bit too high. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to pull this main light down just about that far. Normally I want the bottom of the modifier to equal the bottom of the jaw, and it's pretty close to there right now. Now, as I said, I felt that this was a little too bright, so I'm going to pull it down to about half power. Okay, it's at 100. It's at 50%. All right, perfect. Now you don't need to use a light meter. I'm just using one today because I want to give you sort of scientific information, if you will. You can just simply do what I'm really doing, which is just shooting sample pictures and deciding whether or not it looks right. Okay, so I've turned it down effectively 1 stop, and now let's take a look at that in the camera. So I'll come over here and take a picture. Here's our side-by-side between the two, and you can see that it's much more pleasant looking now with the light on the right. And that light on the right is 3 stops darker than the subject's face. But before we move on, I just wanted to say that if you enjoy learning from me in these videos, you probably would also enjoy reading my 2 lighting handbooks. Volume 2, which just came out, has 23 different one light setups, and Volume 1 breaks down 20 different multiple light setups. In each of these digital downloads, you'll find behind the scenes photos, diagrams, and the final images, as well as a full breakdown of how I got the images. That way you'll be able to use it as inspiration or recreate the exact photos on set during your next photo shoot. And in addition to that, you'll get my Intro to Lighting Guide free. This 31-page digital download goes over all of the fundamentals of lighting That way you'll have everything you need to get started in the studio. So for more information and to get your copy today, just go to johngress.com/lighting handbooks. All right, so now let's talk about placement. So if I were to bring this light up here, let's say right about here, and I were to point it back at Paolo, now it's at about a 45-degree angle. All right, of course, right now it's a little bit brighter than it was earlier. I'm probably darker as well, but we're not really going to be concerned about how bright it is. We're just going to be concerned about the angle. So let me go ahead now and take a picture so you can see what it looks like in this position, this 45-degree angle position. And actually, I think I'm going to turn it, it was turned away from him just a little. The grids are going to keep the light from moving around the room. So if you're ever in a situation where you feel like the light is like you added a kicker and your shadows are now a lot brighter on the other side, that's because it's bouncing around the room. So adding a grid can really help in that situation. So now we're going to compare what it looked like with the light back there. Let's say that was about 30 degrees coming in there. Now it's going to come in here, maybe 20 degrees. We're going to see what it looks like now at 45 degrees. All right, so we'll shoot our new one here. Now I'll show you a comparison between the two of them. So now what's happened is we've got a little highlight here on the side of Paolo's nose. And it's something that absolutely drives me nuts as a pet peeve. I really like to see light only on the side of their face and not coming up onto their nose. If Paolo had a larger nose, his nose would be a lot more lit on the side and it would look gigantic with the light in this position. All right, so to sum things up, I'm going to start off by moving this back into the correct position. So remember, we want our light to be as close as we can, usually to the edge of the background, and that way it's coming in at the steepest angle possible. And that will prevent you from getting that highlight on the side of their nose and making their nose look bigger than it should be. The other thing is, let's talk about the brightness. So for the most part, I'm going to start off with this light 2 stops down, then the light on his face, and then I'm going to adjust it to taste to see that it's the right level that I'm looking for. And again, the reason why we're using a kicker is to get separation between the subject and the background. I'm going to show you 2 pictures now up on screen, one with the kicker and one without, and you can see how big of a difference it makes. So if you've got 2 lights, using a kicker can be a great choice to add separation. If you want to check out a video I made previously about using hair lights, I'll put a link to that up as well. Thank you guys so much for your time. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.